What is the foundation for morality? Upon what, as a society, do we base our morality? The answer is the Ten Commandments, the law of God, through the power of Jesus Christ.
Well, welcome back, friends. You know, as we went to break, Eldon, you were telling us about the government leaders that you were working with and some of those things. I'd like to hear more about that. That's just very powerful what God is doing here.
Yeah, the one that was most exciting for us to go see was in the country of Ecuador.
Mm-hmm.
Various countries we've been to, we've just gone there without an invitation to reach the government leaders. But this specific one, they invited us because of the position that we hold. No church membership, or not membership, but organization is supporting us, no church organization. Their emphasis was they're going to have a drug day to demonstrate to all the children that they need to be not using drugs, because in Ecuador, the youth, there's a lot of drug use.
Yeah. And
they're being raised by the television, and the government leaders are really concerned about that. The head of the police chief was there, of all of Ecuador. The various civic leaders were there, and all these children, the whole school district, from the kindergarten all the way up to seniors in high school, all participated in this anti-drug day. And they were going to have a big celebration afterwards in the courtyard in the center of the city. A rock band was there and all that stuff going. So on that Sabbath morning that we had been invited to attend, we had 10,000 copies of the Ten Commandments to distribute.
Wow.
The Pathfinders, which are similar to Boy Scouts, they were all participating, distributing these commandments. It was about a 3-block square area, very, very large blocks they have in Ecuador, where we were, the big city. The children were marching down the streets, and you could see them coming for 3 blocks. And then you go around the corner, and they were going over on the other side of the block. And here we were passing them out to all the children as they went by. And then afterwards, we had a large, big banquet that we went to talk to the police chief, and the military people were there. And it was because of that invitation that they wanted us there. And that was really powerful for us, because we had never really been officially invited by the government. We got permission from the governments to be at places before, but actually have an invitation from the government, realizing that the churches were not doing their job. All of the churches, all the Protestant denominations were there represented in Ecuador, but they just weren't satisfied with the response they were getting for their children. And so here it was, civic leaders doing the job that religious leaders should be doing, educating and raising the families. And we had a part in that. It was a very big deal.
Amen. Erwin, your involvement with this project, this ministry, you've been doing this for a while now, and can you tell us some details, what you've been doing, some of the stories that you've encountered?
Sure. I guess Eldon and I have been working on this for, what, 6 years?
About 6 years, yeah.
But the story I really want to tell you is kind of happened before that. The way I got involved in this ministry was a fellow came to our church, and on various times he would preach on the Ten Commandments. And he was emphasizing how the Ten Commandments start with verse 2, Exodus 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God that brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And finally, the message resonated with me, and I heard it, really heard it. And I took a look at the Bible. Sure enough, that's the way it actually reads. And so then I kind of got involved in this ministry. And we went on a trip to Philadelphia. I need to tell you this story. You want a story? Here's the story. And there was a pastor back there that has a convocation every year. And he discovered the fourth commandment. And so for a while he was sorting this out, he was trying to decide, what do I do with the fourth commandment, just as it reads, to remember the Sabbath. And finally he embraced it himself, and then his wife embraced it, and then he took it to his church. Mm-hmm. And when we went back there, he was having a weekend convocation, and he was had invited his peers from other churches down in the South and on the Eastern Seaboard to come. And there were several of them there. And at that point in time, they were still worshiping on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
So we went back to that convocation for the purpose of promoting the Ten Commandments, and especially Exodus 20, verse 2, the part that everybody seems to leave out.
Right.
So after a couple of days, I was fidgety. We brought all these commandments with us, and we hadn't gone out and hit the streets yet, and I wanted to do something, and so we went out, and this fellow that does street ministry around there, I asked him, because it's kind of a scary part of town. Old cars and, parked, and broken windows and run-down buildings. And I said, so now, is it safe going out here on the streets? He says, as long as you're doing God's work, if you're taking the gospel out there and doing God's work, you're fine, because you're not viewed as a threat. And so, okay, well, we'll try it. So we went out and hit the streets, and we did that for 2 different days. And on Saturday night after the meeting, we were actually out there after dark. And it's kind of a scary place. Mm-hmm. But then at the end of the weekend convocation on Sunday afternoon, we decided to go out and do some more street ministry. And we're going along. We come down the street here, and here's this big stone church. And, well, we may as well go in there and talk to the pastor. Getting in there was something else, though, because it's like every the progress you made past the first guards, you had to go through the second ones. And they weren't really guards, church members that were kind of protecting the pastor. And so we finally got through all of those people, and they let us sit down with the pastor. Went down into his office and sat down, and so he wanted to hear what we were doing. And we said, well, we're in your neighborhood, and we're doing some outreach ministry here. And he was shocked. He just couldn't believe. He said, now, where are you guys from? Northern Idaho. You came all the way to Philadelphia to do ministry in my neighborhood, to bring the gospel to my neighborhood. Yeah, that's what we came for. And he says, you guys, you must be angels or something. He was just totally blown away by us coming to his city.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. So now, have you been able to go back there? Have you heard any reports?
Well, we've heard some reports, but we didn't go back and talk to that pastor per se. But I would like to go back and talk to him.
Now, I'm more curious about this keeping Sunday Sabbath at the same time. Whether or not they've switched completely over to Sabbath.
For a while, of course, as they were searching this out, they were worshiping on Sunday only. And then as they looked at it in the Bible, they decided, well, yeah, the Sabbath is definitely Saturday, and that's what we should be doing. And so then they started keeping Sabbath. And so they would be there on Sabbath for church and meetings, and then they would come back on Sunday and have church and meetings. But over time, they eventually migrated over to worshiping on the Sabbath.
Right.
It's interesting when this issue about Sabbath started, they were keeping both days. Mm-hmm. And then they dropped the Sabbath and went to Sunday, and now you're telling us the reverse is happening here.
That's right.
So it's amazing.
It's kind of human nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As they were struggling through that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it was amazing when we went out on the streets. It's so simple what we do. We just simply go down the street and hand out copies. Here, would you like a copy of the one document God wrote with his finger in stone? Or something like that. Give them a copy, and invariably we'd walk away and see them reading.
That's right.
Reading.
Like they're just hungry.
Yeah, like they're hungry. Never seen this before. What is this?
Praise
And then
the
we'd
Lord.
have a chance to explain it. In some places, we actually just stopped and prayed with people. At night, we're out there at night talking to people. And people that would, they're dressed a little bit different, and you're saying, I don't know if I want to walk up to these people. But we would do it, and we prayed with people and talked with people. We talked with people in many different denominations, and even some Muslim people. Gave them copies,
Wow.
10 Commandments.
What's their response, the Muslims?
Different.
How did they take it?
It was varied. The response was varied. Some well received, and others not quite.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord that God has taken you through this special journey and experience. And do you have any an account on how many of these 10 Commandments you passed out?
Oh,
It's way up in the hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands.
Oh,
Praise
yeah.
the Lord.
Oh yeah,
Praise the Lord.
maybe even millions, because there are people that we've authorized in other countries to print them and distribute them.
Oh,
in
wow.
India.
and they're
Okay, so you lost count.
Oh
yeah, they're doing it on their own.
In India, they're printing them out like crazy.
Hmm.
We have a contract down there that a couple of brothers have been printing them for many years, and they pass them out as fast as they can print them out.
Isn't that wonderful?
And some of these people, they're not even Christians.
Yeah.
They're of different faiths, and they're handing these out, printing them and passing them out.
Typically, we always have non-Christians or non-members of our denomination as printers, because it's another way to reach somebody else. And so that's what we always do.
Sounds like the rocks are crying out.
Yeah, it is. That's pretty much it. And these people become our advocates, and
Wow.
it's pretty interesting. We get better response from them after the first printing. The next printing, oh, what can we do for you? Because they see the importance of it, and it's really powerful.
Praise the Lord.
It changes people's lives like nothing else will.
Like an entering wedge.
Yeah, that's right.
It is, isn't it?
That's right.
And what's interesting is if you go into some of their homes after they received a copy, you'll often see it right there on the wall. They put it on the wall.
It's right on the wall.
It's pretty hard to go by there and not read it. Every so often stop and read it.
Just a little bit of study in the Bible, you find out that God directs us to put it on the wall in our houses.
That's right.
Well, actually it's the perfect time for us to take a break. And when we
Okay.
return, we can continue and for you to tell us the rest of the story. We'll take a break.
What is the foundation for morality? Upon what, as a society, do we base our morality? The answer is the 10 Commandments, the law of God, through the power of Jesus Christ.